Good evening, parents, family, friends, faculty, and fellow recipients. First and foremost, I'd like to thank you for your involvement in our success. I believe it is important to recognize that we are living through very difficult situations, both societal and personal. The fight to curb the pandemic, the fight against injustice towards minoritized groups, and the fight to withstand political divides amongst friends and family, just to mention a few, have required so much from us. We have to accept that this has been a difficult time to be a student, but a time that shapes us. Honor students, in spite of the issues we face, have persisted. Therefore, realize that the recognition that we are receiving today carries much more weight given the current circumstances. But that is exactly what defines an honor student. We are committed to what is fair and just. Because of this, we are trustworthy. We persevere in difficult times. Because of this, we are considered reliable. And yes, we get to enjoy great esteem for this commitment in academia. However, we must realize that we carry a great deal of weight on our shoulders. It means that we are at the top tier of our class, but it also means that we are looked upon by both young and old. We are expected to spearhead movements, drive positive changes, and aid those in need. We lend a hand even when things are difficult for us. We are willing to sacrifice when others won't, and we are the first to take initiative where others won't. This is why it is important to remember that our honor extends far beyond the limits of the U of M, the medallion we carry, and the paper on which we are recognized today. We are not superior to others, but we are superior in our capacity to understand difficult concepts, from complex algorithms to abstract psychological and social phenomena. That is why we are tasked with closing the gap between knowledge and the people who need it most. This task may begin at home, at your new jobs, or may continue in academia. You may be the next person to lead a national committee, the next person to run a national organization, or the next person to run a local nonprofit. You may become a nationally recognized politician, a state lawmaker, or enforce the law in your community. You may even become the next person to create an important antiviral, the head of the company that makes it, or part of the body of essential workers that distribute it. You may even seek professorship and become a distinguished professor, or you may become a teacher at the school you attended as a kid. And yes, nowadays, there's even a possibility that you already are or will become a social media influencer or famous artist. No matter what the scope of your aspiration is, lead by example. The fact that you overachieved as an honor student in times of social turmoil gives you the authority to exemplify the proper work ethic for others. Use this authority responsibly. Understand your place in society as you understood your role as a student, and as you have done here, learn to coexist with those that possess different ideas than you. The superior capacity to think should not be applied to scholastic subjects only, but to every aspect that requires critical thinking. Instill your great work ethic, your creativity, and your passion to learn in today's youth. You may be planting the seeds of knowledge that give fruit to students like us. How is it that I know? A few years back, I had dropped out of high school. I was 17. I got a full-time job to help my mother pay the rent for the home we eventually lost. I hated my job. I had to maintain apartment complexes under the hot California sun. One thing I never forgot were the words of my 5th grade teacher telling me I'd be something one day. As I swept and mopped the hallways, I remember the words of my 8th grade teacher telling me I would be somebody important. School called me back, and although I come from a disadvantaged background, it turns out those seeds they planted persevered through the harshest conditions imaginable. The rest is history. Here I am today as your commencement speaker. I was asked, what is the most important thing you take from the honors program? Well, it's humility. I am humbled by the fact that people from different genders, races, and backgrounds made sacrifices in the past so that I could stand here today. I am humbled by the fact that no graduate watching this had to do it on their own, but rather with the support from family, friends, faculty, and staff from all walks of life and living situations. Most importantly, I am humbled and honored to have studied in the presence of the most creative, critical thinking, and intellectual peers, as you all were also my motivation. So on that note, allow me to leave you with the words of my late father. Don't let your greatness idle. Don't let your passions expire. Congratulations to the UMN Graduating Honors Class of 2021.